Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k video. So, not gonna lie guys, I am kind of concerned. Because there has been a reveal recently regarding the Vigilus campaign that Games Workshop is running, and part of that reveal is the return of formations. So, for those of you that maybe only joined 40k in 8th edition, maybe you missed out on the whole of end of 6th, beginning of 7th edition. Formations were a thing that Games Workshop brought in around the end of 6th and all through 7th edition, which completely broke the game. The reason why we have 8th edition and the reason why 8th edition rules were a complete hard reset, and unlike anything that we've seen before, was because of formations. Formations literally broke the game. When they announced 8th edition, they had a whole page dedicated to formations being taken out because they were so bullshit. Okay? That's how bullshit formations are. Games Workshop seems to be bringing them back, and I can tell you now, it is a really, really bad fucking idea. It's really bad. So what am I talking about? Okay. The way formations worked is that rather than taking, back in the day you could take what was called a combined arms attachment, a CAD, or an allied attachment. It's very similar to what a battalion is now. But instead of that, you could take a formation, which was a specific amalgamation of units that gave you some really, really awesome bonuses. One of the most infamous of these was the Riptide Wing, which basically was like, take 4 squads of Riptides and you get to be able to shoot 4 times in one turn. 4 times! Insanity. Well, technically you got to fire twice, but the Riptides already have a special rule that lets you fire twice anyway. So you did get to fire 4 times, and it even specifically said in the formation, yes, this means you get to fire 4 times. And guess what? Every fucking competitive player went out and bought 1,000,000 Riptides. Because, having a unit shoot 4 times is just insane. Absolute insanity. So Games Workshop have brought this back again. It's slightly, but like in 7th edition, you had to take very specific units. You had to take had to take like 3 of this specific, like 3 tactical marine squads, and then like a chaplain, and then like a captain. You had to take specific units. The formation that has been revealed as part of the Vigilus campaign isn't like that. It's a little bit more generic, okay? But it is the first step on the road to hell. It is. This is how it started. They're testing the water here, guys. They're testing the water by releasing this little formation. It's not a big deal. And it's just going to be and then everyone's going to want fucking formations. And it's going to be bad. And, last thing I want to say about this intro is it's just more paperwork. They said at the beginning of 8th edition, we were going to have less paperwork. Less books. You have your index, and that's all you need. If you want to have multiple attachments, fine. That's your choice. But you only need 1 book if you really want to crack on with it. That's what I love about my Imperial Guard. I have everything in 1 book. Fuck off. I don't need anything else. I need 2 books. Rule book and my codex, and that's it. With this, now it's just going to be more books you're going to have to buy. It's just stupid. So, what is it? What am I even talking about? Well, it's what's up here on the screen now, guys. It's the Imperial Fist Siege Breaker cohort. Okay. So, if your army is Battleforged, you can use the Specialist Attachment stratagem below. So, for 1 command point. 1 command point. It's nothing. Why am I want my ass with 1 command point. Stupid. Space Marines don't have a lot of like stratagems and stuff anyway, to be fair. So, you know, they always, when I use my Black Templars, I always have one command point to chuck around. I don't have to be careful with them at all. And you might be saying, well, Mordian Glory, surely using these detachments, these special detachments, these formations, they're going to bring more things that you can do, more stratagems. You know, this is the answer to all the Space Marine players' prayers that our army doesn't have enough unique stratagems, this, that, and the other. Well, no, this is the wrong way to do it. You upgrade, you upgrade the fucking regiment trait, the chapter tactics. You don't release these formations because now any Imperial Fist player is going to be retarded if they don't take this Siegebreaker cohort. They are. They're just stupid. You're just stupid if you don't do it. It's one command point and it gives you access to 2 more additional stratagems and an amazing relic and a pretty good warlord trait. You'd be stupid. Anyway, I'm going off. What am I even talking about? I'm getting hot without even just explaining what I'm getting pissed off about. So, one, the principle of its formation is bullshit. This is a step in the wrong direction. Fuck you, Games Workshop. You know this. You know exactly what you're doing. You got us all hopeful, and now you're fucking us over. What does the Imperial Siegebreaker cohort let you do? Use the stratagem when choosing your army. Pick an Imperial Fist attachment from your army to be a Siegebreaker cohort specialist attachment. Captains, Centurions, Dreadnoughts, and Vindicators in that detachment gain the Siegebreaker cohort. So, even though Games Workshop said this is going to be more generalised, it's not going to be for it's not going to be like formations where you have to take specific units. Guess what? Fucking specific units right here. Captains, Centurions, Dreadnoughts, Vindicators. Specific units. Yeah, they're not telling you how many of each one you have to take, but they're directing you to certain units. It's basically a fucking formation. Okay, so in the siege break, if a Siegebreaker cohort character is your warlord, you can give them the following warlord trait: Indomitable. The warlord can never be driven back once he has set his mind to task. He stands stoic, unrelenting, and inspires his allies to hold fast. If your warlord did not move in the movement phase of this turn, friendly Imperial Fist infantry units within 6 inches of your warlord automatically pass morale tests and receive the benefit to their saving throws for being cover, even if they are not wholly on or within a terrain feature. Holy fuck. Because guess what, guys? Guess fucking what? Let's read that one more time. Imperial Fist infantry units. Not Siegebreaker units. Imperial Fist units. Imperial Fist infantry units. Just to be specific. Oh. So what I'll fucking do is I'll take a Siegebreaker cohort. I could just take a fucking, an allied detachment, Siegebreaker cohort, and then give this guy, suddenly everyone around my warlord, if he stays still, is fearless and counts as being in cover even if they're not. So ask me this, right? Well, let me ask you this, I should say. Why would any Imperial Fist player ever take the Codex Warlord trait Rights of War, which let you be fearless around your warlord? Why would they ever take that when they can now get exactly the same thing and count as being in cover? This is just clearly better. Just clearly better. This is incredible. It's not wholly within, it's within 6. You can conga line. You could easily conga line. Half a dozen units. It's crazy. Right, anyway, let's keep going. Relics that you also get access to. A relic. Relics of the Phalanx. If your army includes any Siegebreaker cohort specialist attachments, you can give the following relic to a Siegebreaker cohort character from your army. The Eye of Hypnoth. Reroll wound rolls of 1 for shooting attacks made by friendly Siegebreaker cohort units within 6 inches of the bearer. Basically, guys, go and save yourself 60 fucking points and get yourself a free fucking lieutenant. Because this is better than a lot of regular Space Marine things. Relics. There's only one really good Space Marine relic, and that is a Teeth of Terror. Because it's free. It's utterly, utterly free. You know what? Basically, take a Siegebreaker cohort, get yourself a free fucking lieutenant, save yourself 60 points. And do you know what formations also used to do, guys, back in 7th edition? They used to give you free things. This is a fucking free thing. This is basically Games Workshop testing the water. Have a little free lieutenant. Free lieutenant upgrade. Put this on a captain, and you've got a lieutenant for free. It's only 60 points now, guys. It's going to get worse. Back in the day. Do you know how bad it was back in... For those of you that didn't know, who don't know what we've lived through, the guard players that went through all of fucking 7th edition, do you know what? Space Marines used to be able to take something called a Gladius formation. Okay? Meant that if they took a certain amount of units that were always going to take things like tactical Marines, then they got free transports. That's right, guys. Free Razorbacks. Free Rhinos. Completely fucking free. Space Marine Army in a Gladius attachment could turn up to a 2,000 point game with over 2,500 points because of all the free transports. Adeptus Mechanicus got something called the War Convocation. Or Convocation. You take the War Convocation, you take a certain amount of units. Units you were always going to take anyway because you add mech and you don't have a huge selection of units. Guess what? All upgrades, all war gear, free. This is the start, guys. I can't fucking tee it. It's the start. Take this detachment. Get a free lieutenant upgrade. Anyone who takes this is basically 60 points ahead of their opponent. As a Space Marine player, like I said, you don't have a huge amount of good recs to choose from. Why wouldn't you take this one? It's crazy. Now I know some people might say, but Morning Glory, it's only for friendly Siegebreaker cohort units. It's still captains. Still Centurions, a bit iffy. But not, Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are fucking great. Vindicators are fine. Still bullshit, guys. Still bullshit. Stratagems. Now, this is the one part I actually am sort of okay with, because Space Marines do need more stratagems. Okay? They do. It's just, this is not the way to go around it. But anyway. Use this, so the first one, structural demolition. Use stratagem after a building has been destroyed by an attack made by a Siegebreaker cohort unit for your army. Roll 2d6 instead of 1 for each model that disembarks from that building. For each roll of 1, that model disembarked is slain. So that's shit. It's one command point. No one ever uses any fucking buildings. Who cares? Next one. So it's pointless, really. It is kind of pointless. Next one, seismic devastation. Use a stratagem at the start of the shooting phase or fight phase. Pick a Siegebreaker cohort unit from your army. Each time you roll a wound roll of a 6+ for an attack made by that unit that targets an enemy vehicle or building that phase, that attack inflicts a mortal wound in addition to its normal damage. That's kind of cool. Do you know what, though? That is quite open to abuse. Because it's a Siegebreaker cohort unit. Let's take a look. Dreadnoughts. A Redemptor Dreadnought is a Dreadnought. How many shots can a Redemptor Dreadnought put out? Well, you've got the 2 big fuck-off Gatling cannons it can take, and the little stubber things, and the little missile launcher, the little nipple fucking storm bolters. You put that on a Redemptor Dreadnought, guarantee you're going to do 2-3 mortal wounds, easy. Especially now that you've got a captain. Think about this, you can take a captain, which has got his Eye of Hypnoth, and he's Redemptor Dreadnought is basically rerolling 1s across the board, and any 6s it gets is a mortal wound. That's really good. That's really, really good. And for 1 command point, that's really good. It is only against vehicles, though. It's good. It's good that they actually included that size of devastation one against vehicles. If they'd had 2 that were good against just buildings, that would have been just a waste of ink. So, I want to sum something up here, guys, because I've been quite salty about this topic. And some of you won't really be getting it. Some of you will. Some of you will understand my concerns. And some of you won't. But let me just say, this cohort right here isn't overpowered. Let's come down to reality for a second, guys. Let's present a balanced point of view here, okay? This cohort here isn't overpowered. You do have to pay 1 command point for that. It's only 1. Okay. And this cohort does provide Imperial Fists with a little boost. And a lot of people consider Imperial Fist to be a relatively weak Space Marine chapter. I think they're underrated, but topic for another discussion. I think that this gives them a little boost. I don't think it propels them up to top tier. I think it gives them a little boost. I would not be against any. This is how weird it's going to sound, guys. I would not be against if all these upgrades were just added to the Space Marines for free. We recognise that Space Marines were an early codex, they're a bit weak. This is the new. These are all additional rules you're going to get. There you go, free. Not even a formation outside of the Shieldbreaker cohort. That would be more powerful. So why am I not against that? Because I'm against this idea of a special detachment in principle. Completely and utterly against it. It is a formation. You can dress it up how you like. It is a formation. Formations were the death of 7th edition 40k. Formations were the reasons that Games Workshop almost fucking went bankrupt. If you played 7th edition, one of the most unbalanced editions of 40k ever, if you played 7th edition and you just played combined arms detachment versus combined arms detachment, you just played a standard game, you didn't go bullshit, you took two normal armies against each other, 7th edition was one of the best editions of 40k. I'm saying this, Morning Glory, the one that fucking fought tooth and nail, almost got PTSD from 7th edition. If you played a normal game of 7th edition, it was fun, it was in depth, it was tactical, it was good. But the moment you go to tournament, the power balance is just imbalance is insane because of formations. And I am so concerned that this is the first step on the road to hell. This is the first. Games Workshop had done a really good job of redeeming themselves. Even I said it, even though 8th edition is a little unbalanced, we've had a bit of power creep, it's still fine. It's still one of the best editions of 40k. If we see the return of formations, you have not seen power creep yet, son. You have not seen it yet. Every formation will be more powerful than the next, just like every codex. It'll be like a double doozy. The imbalance will be insane. It will be. And like I said, this formation itself isn't really overpowered, but it's got a few of those little hints, you know, a few of those little hints that, like that basically free lieutenant upgrade, that makes me that indomitable warlord trait, that makes me concerned. It really does. Anyway, guys, I want you to be honest with me. Am I overreacting? You know, am I being overly pessimistic here? Should I just be happy that Imperial Fist players have had a much needed boost? You know? Or do you agree with me? Do you think, holy shit, this could be Games Workshop dipping the toe in the water, seeing the reaction, and possibly bringing formations back in a really hard way? Tell me what you think, guys. Thank you for your comments, and I'll see you guys next time.